Thank you so much for listening to PoliticalStorm.com. I'm John Small. The Republican National Convention is going on right now in Cleveland. Now, I didn't get to make it to Cleveland. I have other things I had to do, but I am going to give you an update because even though I'm not there, I've been sneaking out of the office a little bit and catching up on what's happening, and I'll try to give you a little rundown of what's been going on so far in Cleveland. On Monday, they had a lot of great speakers Monday. Governor Rick Perry from Texas, former governor of Texas. Marcus Luttrell was also speaking. I'm not exactly sure why they had Scott Baio there, but he was there as well. Apparently they needed to fill the roster. Nothing against Scott. It didn't really make sense to me. Some of the other folks that were speaking on Monday night, they had U.S. Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas. They also had Jeff Sessions from Alabama. Rudy Giuliani gave an amazing speech Monday night. And, of course, Melania Trump, the potential First Lady, had a speech on Monday night as well. Now, of all the things that happened Monday, that has been the most talked about because of a couple of lines during her speech that were similar to a couple of lines during Michelle Obama's speech from back in 2008. Now, how many different ways can you say, I want the country to be better for my children? Now, I understand it was pretty similar, but it wasn't word for word. I guess we'll see what happens in the end, and I guarantee you, Michelle didn't write that, and Melania didn't write that. So whoever it is to blame is probably the speechwriter more so than the person that delivered it. But it sure has made for some fun memes on Facebook, hasn't it? All in all, the overall theme on Monday was Make America Safe Again. Then we turned the page to Tuesday. The theme was Make America Work Again. They had some great speakers on Tuesday as well. We had Dana White speaking on Tuesday. U.S. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell spoke Tuesday. Paul Ryan, U.S. Speaker of the House, and he did a great job. That was a fascinating speech that he had given. Governor Chris Christie was probably one of the most talked about speeches on Tuesday, and the reason for that is he was doing the guilty or not guilty, and it got pretty riled up there for a while. And again, I've seen a lot of things shared about that on Facebook. Like it, hate it, either way, he made some very good points there. Also, Tuesday night, Tiffany Trump had a chance to speak. Also, Donald Trump Jr. had a chance to speak, and I think he did an amazing job. His entire speech, I thought, I watched the entire thing all the way through. I was kind of hanging on every word, and I think he did a really good job, and I think there are going to be some people who are going to give him a lot of credit for putting together a good speech, and I know that a lot of what he had to say was directly from him, and it wasn't something that, I don't know how a speechwriter could have said what he said. It was personal, first-hand comments, so things that they grew up in, talking about how even though they were a family of billionaires, they also had an opportunity to, learn how to drive skid loaders and all kinds of interesting things. So I thought that was pretty darn cool. And again, Tuesday, the entire theme of the day was Make America Work Again. Now that brings us to today. It's Wednesday as we're putting this podcast together. The theme for today is Make America First Again. Coming up tonight in primetime programming, Laura Ingraham, a radio host, she'll be on there. I've actually had a chance to talk to her in the past. Neat lady. It'll be interesting to see what she has to say. Also, kind of skimming through here to see who else that we all might know that'll be speaking tonight. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker will be speaking tonight. Also, from the Trump Foundation, the Eric Trump Foundation, Lynn Patton, she's the vice president of the Eric Trump Foundation. She'll be speaking. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio. Now, this should be interesting, because I don't know if you remember, but during the campaign, these two didn't necessarily get along so well. So U.S. Senator Marco Rubio followed by U.S. Senator Ted Cruz. Now, it ought to be interesting to see what they have to say. But that's not all. Also tonight, Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization, Eric Trump, will be speaking. Newt Gingrich and Callista Gingrich, a former Speaker of the House, and his wife, they'll be speaking tonight as well. And Indiana Governor Mike Pence, he is the vice presidential candidate for the Republican Party, and he was elected the 50th governor of the state of Indiana in 2012, and he's done a pretty darn good job there in Indiana and would be, I think, an amazing vice president, a very good candidate for vice president. And again, that's another thing where I've seen some very heated issues on Facebook where people love the guy or hate the guy, and the crazy thing is, 3 weeks ago, most people would have never even known who you were talking about if you said Mike Pence. So it's funny how instantly we learn so much about somebody in such a short amount of time. Well, we do have one big announcement to make. Donald J. Trump is now no longer the presumptive nominee. He is the Republican nominee for president. It'll be interesting because next week we have the same big dog and pony show going on for the Democrats, and we'll get to make the big announcements there as well, and that's happening in Philadelphia. And we'll try to keep you up to date on everything happening in Cleveland. I can tell you from my home state of South Dakota, one of the famous videos that's flying around on social media is while they were announcing that Donald J. Trump was the nominee for the state of South Dakota, there was a guy that did a facepalm. Well, he's actually a friend of mine, so I'm going to try to touch base with Mr. Isaac Luttrell. We'll be chatting. Hopefully, I sent a message to him. We're going to see if we can get an update on how things are going there and find out what the reason was for the facepalm. I can tell you what I read on Facebook, but I'd rather just talk to him and let him say it because that would be much better. And you can continue to listen right here for updates from Cleveland. We'll update you as we get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to PoliticalStorm.com, where you don't have to just read the news. You can be a part of the news. Open an account at PoliticalStorm.com. It's free, and you can contribute as well, and you can be part of the story and make sure you get your opinion heard as well. Learn more at PoliticalStorm.com. Thank you for listening to PoliticalStorm.com. I'm John Small.